Alright, I think we're live. Believe that's the case. Alright, howdy. Oh, man. I suppose I should go ahead and share this link with the Twitter sphere to inform them of my live nature. Alright, what is happening? So, as you can see, I am keeping this on this page, I suppose, the GIF rather. This is usually the GIF that is displayed before me coming on stream, but given the fact that my camera has decided to shit itself, I am going to be operating today with that one, and hopefully by Saturday there'll be one that is that will have one then. But nevertheless, we will make do with what we have, and still be fun, I suppose. Yeah, so title suggests some high octane politics, and quite frankly, I'm trying to figure out where exactly to start. There's a lot of shit. Oh yeah, I suppose let's start here. Give me one moment. Windows capture. That seems to be appropriate. Alright. So we're gonna start with this, and this is shocking. So first and foremost, let's look at the video.
Situationen är akut. Pandemin var ingenting jämfört med klimatkollapsen. Det som kommer kan vi inte ens föreställa oss. Barn och äldre dör först. Sirener kommer ljuda oavbrutet, men ingen kommer hinna fram i tid. Förbjud torvbrytningen och återställ de jävla våtmarkerna.
Vår hälsa är hotad. Själva grunden till hälsa är hotad.
Som sjuksköterska kommer inte att kunna ge er någon trygghet. Vi kommer också drabbas av svält, vattenbrist, konflikter. Det kommer bara bli värre ju längre tid vi väntar. Vad väntar vi på? Förbjud torvbrytning. Återställ våtmarker.
So it's basically the same shit that we went over a couple months ago, where there were people throwing canned soup at paintings, and this was done to solicit the outrage of conservatives, but more so to generate impressions and clicks online, basically getting attention. Now, obviously, this is going to ruffle feathers amongst those who don't take climate change seriously. Even for people who do take climate change seriously, I believe that this is gonna perhaps raise some eyebrows. Yeah, the response, the most sane response I could find here was this right here. Yeah, these women supposedly deserve the death sentence. He's not playing around here, I guess. The death sentence for having done the unthinkable act of defacing, I suppose, this very famous picture, or this very famous piece of art. So this is remarkable what is said here. Claude Monet is one of the great masters, and his work is irreplaceable. It isn't just this is the amazing part. It isn't just the property of a museum, but the collective cultural property of the country of France, which has a history to be proud of. my friend, the pieces of art here, okay, the one that they messed up with paint, this is not relegated to any one nation state. This is something that is broadly appreciated throughout the entire world. Just because it's in France, or that this individual here was French, I'm assuming they are, does not mean that it is of the collective cultural property of the country of France. And I'm assuming by country he really just means like the people living in there. It's ridiculous. And it's just also equally bewildering, the fact that this is supposedly a war crime. A war crime, mind you. Keep in mind that this is, of course, not taking place in a war. It has no relation to wars. There's nothing pertaining to a war by the actions committed here. Nevertheless, it is being characterized as a war crime. I mean, like, what the fuck are you supposed to say to that? Go to China. I didn't read this, by the way. Go to China, smash up one of the Terracotta army warriors. Go to Japan, break Oda Katana, whatever the fuck this shit is. Go to Turkey and damage this person's armor. They deliver justice. France, do not be so... What? Why does he want them dead, though? Like, you can obviously share your grievances with them doing what they did. I mean, that's one thing, but to literally go the extra mile and be like, they need to die? Like, what is wrong with you? Of course this is Tristan Tate. This man is fucking insane. The brother of of Andrew Tate, who has obviously been like under scrutiny of the law with respect to human trafficking. Amazing. Simply amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, this is just an overreaction, obviously. You can agree or disagree with the practices carried out by the women here with respect to, I mean, activism, because, you know, they're doing shit that is going to generate, you know, a lot of publicity. And that's kind of the goal, right? But to like say they need to die is really fucking weird. Yeah, I don't, whatever. But who am I to question the sanity of a man who has who is the brother and probably shares the exact same beliefs as his brother with respect to women. Those beliefs being, of course, deeply rooted in misogyny. I mean, like, what? Not really shocking there. So yeah, that's yeah. Oh yeah, no shit, this is also interesting as well. Let me play this. Man, I'm getting hungry. Woo! I might need to grab a snack. Alright, what's up? Jesse Waters, what's your take today?
Gabbard's now at maybe midfield.
Actually, let me double check.
But he has to understand homelessness isn't about lack of affordable housing.
Okay, got it. All right, sorry about that. Let's start over.
Gabbard's now at maybe midfield, but he has to understand homelessness isn't about lack of affordable housing.
Yes, it is. If you are unable to afford a home, and as a result you are pushed onto the streets, if you can't, not even just a home, but like a place to rent or whatever, anywhere to live, that is a product mostly of your financial insecurity.
It's about drug addicts that want...
What? Drug addicts? Jesse Waters, I don't know if you know this, but there are plenty of drug addicts who also own or reside in homes / apartments. There are plenty. In fact, I would be willing to wager that a majority live in homes who abuse drugs.
Want to wander around and live in tents on the sidewalk. And so you can't coddle antisocial behavior. You can't...
That's not what antisocial behavior means. Antisocial behavior is an actual psychiatric diagnosis made upon people who demonstrate a profinity, or perhaps that's the wrong word to use, but an affinity, that's the right one. An affinity for, you know what, why don't I just look it up? Like, what am I doing here? Define anti... This is such a pointless thing to do, but social behavior, or whatever. It's a psychiatric disorder. Dysfunction of a person's way of thinking, perceiving situations, and relating to others. It can be normal, apparently. The Mayo Clinic describes it as sociopathy. It's a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. So how, in what context was Jesse Waters invoking this?
Sidewalk. And so you can't coddle antisocial behavior.
Yeah, that's not what that means.
Can't subsidize antisocial behavior. You have to stigmatize it.
Who is coddling said behavior? What are you talking about?
You can't celebrate people with purple hair, with nose rings.
Who has, what is he talking? He has like this, he has like a certain person in mind, and he's like feeling, it's like he has this caricature of every homeless person looks like, and is shoehorning everything into one like image, so that way he can tear down this stereotype. I don't get it. I don't. There are very few homeless people who I have seen in my personal experience who have purple hair, nose rings, and basically what he's describing here is like the woke SJW whatever soy jack blah blah blah. When you're talking about homeless people, like what? You're conflating two stereotypes.
4 kids with 4 different men who are dressed like trash and make them out to be some sort of cutting-edge heroes.
Nobody is doing that.
You have to call them what they are. These are people that have failed in life and they're on their deathbed.
Disgusting. Absolutely vile. So basically, the claim being made here is that homeless people are... honestly, he's kind of even suggesting that they are below human. Like, they don't deserve human rights because they failed the game of life. I don't know, like, in certain situations, of course, we can blame the individual for the state in which the state of affairs they're currently living under. But at the same time, like, sometimes that's not really, like, the case. Like, if you're born, like, in a not wealthy area, and you grow up, and, like, because property taxes fund public schooling, you go to public school where, you know, it's like dog shit, and, like, you don't get a good education for whatever reason, or, like, I don't know, like, there are certain things that you can't really control for that, unfortunately, will lead you into a direction of, not being well off, I guess. And that could also lead, obviously, to, being homeless. So it's so fucking disgusting, man. Even, like, if people did make mistakes in their life that led to being homeless, like, what a vile thing to say. That they, basically implying that they don't deserve, like, respect or equal rights or whatever. Basically trying to pawn off responsibility on the behalf of the government and just blame it all on the individual. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is, but not every time.
And if we're not honest about it, we're never going to fix this problem. Gabbard's now...
Awesome. So he hates poor people and hates homeless people. This is unsurprising, I guess. Oh yeah, knowing better. Very, you know, observant here. That's kind of what I was touching upon as well. Well, yeah. Okay. Beautiful. What else do we got? That was, incredible here. I don't know. But there was some other shit. Oh, God. There's some other shit I wanted to see, but I guess we'll get into it. All right, well let's do this actually. Hold on. Go to history.
Of our
What?
democracy.
Shut up. Sorry. Okay. Let's do it, okay? We're gonna farm content. So Jimmy Dore. I've talked about this man several times, and if you are aware of what my opinion is, then you should know that, or if you're not aware, rather, then you should know that I hold Jimmy in very low regard. He's not somebody I respect. I think he's actually a bad person. It's not just a matter of me disagreeing with his politics. It's one of those things, like, there are definitely people for whom I can simply appreciate, I guess, the fact that we only have political disagreements, but with Jimmy, I honestly believe he's not a good person behind the camera. He's just as insane as he is in front of it. So, with that, poisoning the well out of the way, let's dig into this. So, he is talking about the Trump indictment, claiming that it is a sham, or rather, he's saying that Tucker is revealing that the Trump indictment is a sham, and he, through the title here, is implicitly agreeing with that claim. So I guess we'll see what he says.
You remember when this happened, when Trump was president?
Yes, I remember covering that with you.
Handshakes, Kim Jong-un, and then it says talks of peace sinks U.S. defense stocks.
Yeah, what?
So
Thanks a lot, Trump.
so Tucker Carlson is going to let you know why Trump was indicted. So we all know Trump got indicted.
Yep.
It's, again, the most garbage of garbage things.
Okay, oh boy, here we go. So the claim right off the top here, right, is that the indictment was the most garbage of garbage things. So I don't know what his definition of garbage is, but judging from everything I know about Jimmy, as well as, like, Tucker, I'm inclined to believe that this is going to be pretty bad already. The indictment was we read it on stream last week. A lot of the information provided was not good. It didn't look good for Trump, that is. So, he's in a pickle, I would say. So I don't know what garbage of garbage is referring to. Is it the legitimacy of the indictment itself? Like, I don't get it. But maybe he'll elucidate for us.
It's about he didn't handle classified documents correctly.
Well, that's not the only thing the indictment entails. Obstruction of justice is another major component of that. But yeah, the mishandling of classified information being one of them. Disseminating said information to non-security cleared people was also an issue, but the obstruction of justice is another big one.
But like, for what I understand, taking home classified documents is basically the same as taking home a stapler.
Yeah,
at this point.
No, it's not. Wait, you can't be serious. So they're making the comparison here that bringing home classified documents, okay, is the same, I'm going to assume they mean legally, as bringing home a stapler? Please tell me you're not this retarded.
I'll do it, A, and B, by the way, he's the guy who determines what's classified and what's not.
Yeah, he didn't declassify shit. There is a process that goes into declassification. He failed to do that. Therefore, the information was still classified, and numerous requests were made by NARA to get those records back that he took from the White House, and he failed to do so.
So, do you know,
right.
There's nobody higher than anyway. So Tucker Carlson's going to tell you. So he did another monologue. It's Tucker Carlson's third show on Twitter, and I'm just going to show you the last couple of minutes. And this is what it's really all about.
Oh no, here we go.
But what about voters? What are they learning from this spectacle? Well, mostly they're learning that they have no power at all because nobody cares about them. But they already knew that. Unlike so many of our elected leaders, they have been to America recently. They know what it looks like. Have you seen it? If you've got a few days this summer, find out. Take a road trip and see for yourself. Drive 500 miles in any direction and then come home. How are things looking? Well, they should look great. The federal government spent $6.5 trillion last year. That's more than any government has ever spent, ever.
And how much of that was spent on infrastructure or anything pertaining to urban development? Because he is saying that, well, if we're spending all this money, shouldn't the outskirts of these, cities, these rural areas, shouldn't they look great? Even though, first off, most of the country is farmland, and second off, how much of the money that he's claiming was spent by the federal government wholesale was allocated for infrastructure or urban development. Those are two, because it's not like all that money was spent into investing in infrastructure. Obviously not.
So at the very least, you would expect pristine public roads. Oh no, that's not what you see when you drive around this country.
Well, okay. So one reason for this is because of the way funds can be distributed from a state or local jurisdiction, right? Some states are more rural than others, and you're not going to... And also, may I add also that the fact that not everywhere in the country, not every crack on the road is going to be, repaved. You know what I mean? So, I feel like there is a degree also of class inequality that plays into how much funds get disseminated to each jurisdiction. So, I mean, that's worth pointing out too. But regardless, yeah, I guess let's keep playing here, see what the broader point is.
There are potholes and Jersey barriers everywhere.
There's no matter how much money the government throws at state governments, there will always be potholes. Always. Forever. You will die one day, and there will still be a pothole somewhere in this country.
Looks like Tegucigalpa before the Chinese decided to rebuild the infrastructure of Honduras. We don't have China buying our roads.
Okay.
So the point that Tucker's making right now is that our government is so corrupted that...
Wait, hold on. He didn't say corrupted. The implication behind what Tucker is saying here is that the federal government is inept or is not efficient with the way it disseminates its money. He didn't even say corruption.
We're ending the way all empires end. We're spending all this money on nothing.
That's completely not true. The amount of money the federal government spent... last I checked, I don't know, don't people still get Social Security checks? And God, what a fucking stupid thing to say. The government spends shit, and shit still happens. I don't understand, what's difficult to understand about this?
Is that our government is so corrupted that we're ending the way all empires end. We're spending all this money on nothing.
I mean, once again, this is untrue.
Meaning it's just going right to corruption, and that's
what the fuck does that mean? The money's going to corruption? What does that mean? Genuinely, I want to know the answer to that question. Corruption is a... what is... this is so frustrating. Okay.
That's what it is. The CARES Act was nothing but corruption.
That is completely untrue. The CARES Act was in response to the coronavirus outbreak that severely disrupted supply chains as well as economic growth and led to a mass wave of jobless claims in the ensuing months. The coronavirus, the stimulus package, because this is the same stimulus package that resulted in $1,200 going to Americans who submitted a tax form. This was absolutely necessary. I mean, it was a very large economic stimulus bill, that's for sure. I mean, it was the largest in U.S. history. But it was absolutely necessary given the gravity of the crisis that plagued not just the United States, but the entire world. Classifying that under, corruption is very bizarre.
That was a $5 trillion corruption package that Bernie Sanders and all the Democrats said was good for you. And they,
Why I love how he says the Democrats, but like doesn't point to the fact, like if he's actually like anti-establishment as he likes to claim, then why would he only highlight Democrats and not just the broader political apparatus? He only highlight, like, I'm pretty sure Republicans were also on board with the coronavirus stimulus package. Maybe not initially, but certainly eventually, because they would have needed the proper amount of votes for it to pass anyway. So it's interesting that he only talks about Democrats being bad, and it's almost like he's a conservative, but is playing up the fact that he's really just a populist.
they all lied. And
Wait, hold on. What they lie about? I'm sorry.
Bernie Sanders and all the Democrats said was good for you, and they all lied.
What's they lie about exactly? It's honestly amazing to me how much bullshit comes out of this man's mouth. Everything he says is either untrue, partisan, or flat out fabrications. Like, just made up shit. What do you mean they lied? What'd they lie about?
And what he's pointing this out, that we're not even, our country is crumbling underneath us. Our infrastructure is crumbling as we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Didn't the Democrats pass the infrastructure bill? Like, hold on, infrastructure bill votes? Shit, hold on. I'm very interested in, like, I'm very interested in how many Democrats and conservatives voted for each, like, how many yeas and nays were there? This was passed, but I just want to know about the initial. How many nays were there? Whoops. Because he likes to highlight that Democrats are like fucking uniquely evil or something when that's not the case. Okay. This was in relation to the infrastructure bill, not the one that eventually passed. This was one of the first installments. But Democrat yeas 215, 6 nays. Republican 13 nays, 200 nays. Keep in mind that this is an infrastructure bill, one in which that was designed primarily to, obviously, redress problems pertaining to infrastructure. The thing that Jimmy Dore apparently takes issue with, or likes to highlight here. And, wow, when you look at that, conservatives actually don't like that. It was only in the second installment, after it was watered down, that it eventually passed. Unless this is the one that passed. Perhaps I'm misreading here. But regardless, 200? 200 nays by the Conservative Party. Incredible.
To corrupt countries, we're spending all kinds of money, but we're not spending it on us. And
we are spending it on us. Again, should I come back to Social Security? There are plenty of people who are still receiving Social Security checks, not just for being old, but also for disability.
You know who else made that point? The guy who was just on this show, Chris Hedges, in his book called America: The Farewell Tour.
Who's Chris Hedges? Chris Hedges. I'm just curious. I don't know who this is. Oh, shit. Oh, no. I just want to know his politics. I don't give a fuck about anything else, really. Looks like he was part of Occupy Wall Street? No? Oh, I don't... Okay. He doesn't give me immediate sussy vibes. So that's good. Alright, let's go.
He documents the hollowing out of America's infrastructure in our cities.
That conservatives refuse to take action on, yeah.
Because of neoliberalism, capitalism. Well, Tucker
LOL.
Carlson is onto that too. Now he knows that the government is...
Well, first off, neoliberalism isn't incompatible with a good infrastructure. You can have countries where it is a neoliberal apparatus. Like, that is the main occupying ideology of the government. And a good infrastructure. These are not incompatible things. You can have capitalism and good infrastructure. Those also are not incompatible.
Completely corrupted, and that we're spending all our money on empire and none of it on our own people. And
We are spending a lot of money, generally speaking, but we are also spending a lot of money on the people. Perhaps we aren't spending enough to redress some of the issues that are plaguing the country. To that, I might agree with, but suggesting we don't spend money at all or not enough, or excuse me, not at all or not a lot, is false.
that's the point he just made. But the bigger point
You're actually adding quite a bit that he didn't say to your own monologue.
is that everybody in the news business is on board for that agenda.
It's not an agenda. That's a... Okay. Alright, whatever.
And he's the only one pushing back, which is why he got fired. He's got a little bit more to say.
That's not why he was fired. Wasn't he fired for, like, anti-Semitic comments, like, in private? I don't feel like looking it up. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the reason he got fired. He got fired for saying some stupid shit, like, bigoted shit, behind the scenes.
So they're falling apart. You'd think the people you would pass on your road trip would look happy and prosperous. Again, this is a very rich country. But a lot of them don't. Quite a few appear to be strung out on drugs. You see them shuffling by shuttered storefronts in small towns.
What is he talking? Wait, does he have a specific place in mind? Now, I'm not going to deny the fact that this is probably happening somewhere, but I'm sure also what's happening somewhere is like a guy getting fisted in like a alleyway. Like, okay, it's not like an impossible thing, but you need to point to some trends or whatever that's highlighting that this is a predominant issue, a ubiquitous issue.
And you wonder, as you see all of this, where did all the money go? It's certainly not here. Well, it's in Washington.
That is more than likely false. A lot of the money that goes into the congressional budget, excuse me, I believe like gets disseminated to these different agencies that therefore disseminated to the local jurisdictions around the country. There are some states where the population is sparse, therefore there's less funding that is needed. And also the economic activity within more rural areas are less likely to generate tax revenue, so like the local governments are not going to have as much. So, I mean, like, this shit's just complicated, dude. Like, yeah.
It's in Fairfax and Loudoun counties, and in leafy, perfectly manicured Northwest D.C. And of course, a huge chunk of it went to Ukraine, to Zelensky and his friends.
Well, how much money is actually want to... I saw something on Twitter the other day, but like I'm pretty sure that the amount of money that has been sent to Ukraine thus far has accounted for less than 10% of the total like GDP of the United States. It might even be less than 1%. I'm gonna have to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it's a very small proportion of the total expenditure of the country.
Not because you voted for that. You didn't vote to give it to them. You never would. But because Joe Biden and his many
Wait, we wouldn't vote for people to hoard the money in Washington. Got it. Yeah, I mean, like, again, that's probably not happening.
allies, from Chuck Schumer to Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan, and every single news anchor on all of television, all of them believe that Ukraine, its borders, its future, its infrastructure are all more important than the town that you live in.
It is not mutually exclusive to prioritize the geopolitical interests of the United States with respect to Ukraine, and also fund shit that is necessary domestically. Obviously, the United States has an interest in Ukraine winning the war, but so does all the countries in Europe, basically, with the exception of oh shit, what was that one? Bulgaria? That's a Russian state of a Russian-backed fucking government. I mean, like, most of, like, the West has an interest in Ukraine winning the war. There are definitely geopolitical, like, reasons for this. So, but it's just, like, they frame it as though it is at the, like, sending the money to Ukraine is at the expense of doing other shit that's important for the country, when, you know, that's not That's probably not true. I mean, you can walk and chew gum at the same time.
They sincerely think that, and it's obvious. Everyone in power thinks that.
Well, I don't know about that.
Everyone in power thinks Ukraine is more important than fixing homelessness in America.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, back up your sources before you say shit like that. I really cannot stand the fact that people just talk in such absolutes like this. When, like, I feel like I sometimes do this, and I really try not to, and I try to qualify everything I say, but, like, these fuckers are so reckless with the language they employ. It's like, they use everything in a hyperbole, they hyperbolize everything. They say, everybody is out to get you. Everybody wants you to die of starvation in the United States. Like, oh my god, can we just be more precise and exact with our language? Just a little bit, maybe? Maybe don't paint us with such a broad brush.
Or fixing a bridge in America, or getting a living wage in America, or getting free college in America.
Wait, by the way, I'm pretty sure that Nina Turner has fought for a living wage. So there's one right there that bucks from the orthodoxy of Jimmy Dore here. Now, like, obviously I disagree with where that line is drawn from Nina Turner, but, like, she's absolutely trying to fight for a living wage. So is Bernie Sanders, for that matter. I believe Elizabeth Warren as well.
Or ending student debt in America, or anything in America.
There are plenty of politicians who want to limit the amount of student debt out there. That's for sure. Like, he's just making shit up. Like, I don't know. There's, like, nothing. Like, why do I even have to debunk this? I mean, it's so obviously not true.
America. Why? Because they're not there to serve you. They're there to serve their corporate donors, which is why we live in a completely 100% corrupted country.
Okay. Oh boy. So the GOP and the DNC can't coast. So right now I feel like Jimmy Dore is demonstrating a lack of awareness on how the system works exactly, how these elections work, because, like, obviously a lot of these campaigns are funded through corporations and shit, but at the end of the day, it's the votes that make the difference. Like, getting all the funding from these campaigns are pumped into, like, advertisements and shit like that to swing voters in their direction. And it's really the voters who elect these representatives. It's not like the corporations the corporations influence these votes to a large extent. That's more than likely the case, but like, it's just like he doesn't seem to understand the inner mechanics of what's actually happening with these elections and how they're influenced so greatly.
Which is why that military budget that's $1 trillion is $1 trillion of complete corruption.
Shut the fuck up. You're such a fucking liar. Jesus Christ. What is the military budget in 2022? $766 billion. Okay, so he's just rounding up another $250 million or billion dollars. Excuse me.
So, and he's pointing that out. And the only other politician, the only person in America who's in power who doesn't believe that, he's going to tell you, hang on, let me back it up.
Let me guess, it's Donald Trump.
Everyone in power thinks that, except for Donald Trump.
Except for Donald Trump.
Whatever else.
This is, of course, not the case. Donald Trump is as much in the swamp, swimming amongst the fucking alligators as every other politician. He might, in fact, even be more corrupt than the average politician.
What you say about him, Trump is the one guy with an actual shot at becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda.
This is objectively not the case. Trump has made arms deals with Saudi Arabia, who then used those same weapons to slaughter the citizens of Yemen. He assassinated Soleimani. Drone strikes increased by over 400% under his administration relative to the previous administration. I mean, like, in every sense of the word, he is absolutely serving the interests of Raytheon and these war machines, as Jimmy would like to call them. So he is, like, it's so fucking obvious too. Like, I don't get the point here. Why are we highlighting Trump as this unique, populous, amazing man that is like an everyday man when he is the furthest person from that. He is a billionaire. I mean, like, I just get it. You have to be so brainwashed to, like, not fucking see this. Oh my god. And didn't he also, by the way, man, I feel like he's just done nothing to convince me that he's not in the swamp with every other politician. Nothing.
And for that one fact,
It's not a fact.
they're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him.
They aren't trying to take him out because of that fact, quote unquote. It's because he committed obstruction of justice as well as possessing classified documents, storing them erroneously. Yeah. It's not because of the fact that he's anti-war.
That's it.
Dude, oh my god. I don't know. This is why I can't watch Jimmy Dore on a stream by stream basis. It's too much. He's so obviously fucking stupid and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, oh my god.
And that should upset you more than anything
Good
that's happened
Lord.
in American politics in your lifetime. Even if you don't plan to vote for Donald Trump, even if you would die before voting for Donald Trump, which is your right, and a lot of good people feel that way, even still,
Oh, thanks.
the destruction of our democracy, which is the right of voters to support any candidate they want, even candidates who don't want war with Russia.
What is he talking about? So, wait. Is the implication here that candidates who are anti-Russo-Ukraine war, who don't want to send funds to Ukraine anymore, they are barred from running for office? That is a that is a hefty implication. I don't see where that's happening anywhere. Unless he's specifically referring to Trump, who, by the way, isn't barred from running. He's still going to run for office in spite of the indictment.
The destruction of that should keep you up at night.
Okay, just making shit up, fabricating, like, made-up shit to be mad about.
Yes, Donald Trump is a flawed man, but his sins are minor compared to those of his persecutors.
Okay. Yeah, the idea that the Democrats are the ones who are actually undemocratic is, and like, yeah, that's pretty laughable. I believe, like, okay, let's first look at January 6th, right? January 6th was obviously an insurrection. Anybody who claims otherwise is lying, or they are deep into the Kool-Aid, the conservative Kool-Aid. So the fact that he talked and talked so dismissively about the election results, and not only that, but said that widespread voter fraud was taking place with mail-in ballots when that wasn't happening. The fact that, and this isn't even just Trump, by the way, that we're talking about the broader GOP. The California GOP set up illegal ballot boxes and I'm not making this up. California, I think I've looked this up before. The California Republican Party, it even admitted as such, that they place misleading ballot boxes around the state. So illegal ballot boxes around the state, but they even went as far as saying that they were going to fight that at the courts to keep it there. Also, if I remember correctly, wasn't there voter fraud? Yeah, voter fraud Trump supporter. There were a Trump backer committed voter fraud in the state of Wisconsin. You wouldn't expect such behavior from people who believe in the sanctity of secure elections, right? Oh yeah, and anti-protest laws. Yeah, there's a wave of anti-protest laws that was proposed in 2021. And also trying to legalize vehicular manslaughter as well. I believe those were in the states of Florida and Texas. GOP bills target protesters and absolve motorists who hit them. So they're very pro free speech. Very obviously, you can tell. Very pro democracy, as evidenced by the fact that they are setting up illegal ballot boxes. Yeah, I mean, like, this is a party of people of non-hypocrites, people who live by their principles.
In this life, we don't get to choose our martyrs. We can only choose our principles, and America's are at stake.
That is wise. You gotta write that. You gotta write that in like a book or something.
So he's 100% correct about all.
He is 100% incorrect about basically everything he said. There's a lot of presuppositions made that are incorrect, or they're not grounded in reality. He fabricated certain aspects. He implied that you're barred from running for office if you are anti-war and or try to fight for the common guy or whatever. There's a lot of erroneous claims made by Tucker there, and of course Jimmy Dore will eat it up because, you know, that's his whole thing, I guess.
All that. And that's what's wild. He's sounding a lot more like Chris Hedges sounded in this book. That's because that's what the whole book is all about, what Tucker Carlson just said. Take a drive around America, and that's what
I'm willing to bet if I read this book that the primary thesis is going to be a lot more agreeable than the claims made by Tucker Carlson here. They're probably not even going to be even remotely similar.
Hedges does, and he reports back from what he sees, and America is a hellscape of de-investment. And we have sucked all the wealth out of America and put it into pockets of capitalists, and they take it to other countries, and they give it to the military-industrial complex, Wall Street, Big Pharma, and they send it to places like Ukraine, Syria, Yemen. You see all those military bases?
Wait, didn't Trump do some of that shit too? Like, what? Like, he wants to, like, highlight Democrats, fine, but, like, what about Trump? Didn't he do the exact same shit? Like, he made... I'm not making this up, dude. Like, he did arms deals with Saudi Arabia. Trump arms deal Saudi. Saudi Arabia... Oh, defying Congress at that. That is incredible. Oops. Trump sets $8 billion plus in weapons deal in Saudi Arabia, UAE. Which absolutely was, I don't want to speak for sure, but in all likelihood, the weapons that were sold to Saudi Arabia were then used to, bomb civilians in Yemen. So yeah, I mean, like, how is Trump anti-war again? I'm very confused.
Oh, I can't believe I don't have this loaded in here. You know that video I show of all the military bases around America? It's jaw-dropping. I mean, around the country, around the world. It's jaw-dropping. No other country's doing that. So there is Tucker Carlson now sounding like Chris Hedges in defense of Donald Trump, who is being persecuted because he's against the war machine.
No, he's not. He's being first off, not even persecuted. He's just being prosecuted because he committed crimes? That's why the indictment was made? We have text messages, we have a voice recording of Trump admitting basically to those crimes. Like, you have got to be the biggest fucking retard or the biggest fucking partisan in the world to just come to the conclusion that he is being persecuted. He is rightfully having the book thrown at him, and if you truly were anti-establishment and anti-corruption, as you are, Jimmy, you would be totally in favor of this indictment. Or, it's not even a matter of having an opinion here. Like, the indictment was founded based upon evidence. So, you would be totally fine with the judicial system, you know, running its course and having him see a fair trial to the crimes that were claimed to have been taken place by Trump, and have that all adjudicated. You should have no issue with that. But he does have an issue with it because to him, his whole personality is just anti-Democrat party. That's it. And to always, employ populist language, military-industrial complex, and blah, 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 that's his whole personality, really. There's no critical thinking here. And he's basically pro-Trump. I mean, there's really no other way to look at it here. Which is, again, funny given the fact that Trump is one of the most corrupt politicians in the modern era, but yet Jimmy feels as though he's being persecuted.
That's the craziest thing. Here's what Glenn Greenwald says
It's
about
really
it.
not that crazy. Oh no, he's citing Glenn Greenwald. Didn't Glenn Greenwald a while ago post some anti-Semitic Nazi Germany cartoons on his Twitter? Pretty sure that's the case.
Democrats and the GOP will bicker about trans kids, abortion, and gun control. But on the issues where power and wealth are determined, wars, Russia and China, the U.S. security state, AOC and Paul Ryan have the same views, as do Marco Rubio.
They actually don't. They actually don't.
Rubio and Nancy Pelosi, and the New York Times conservatives, and Biden.
What? Also, why are we citing Glenn Greenwald again? Is he somebody I should take seriously? Because every time he tweets or opens his mouth about anything, he is a laughing stock. He is a clown. He embodies no political intuition. He knows nothing. His opinions are essentially as useful to me as a dementia-ridden fucking grandma in a nursing home.
So that's what they all agree on. They all agree on war. They all agree on empire.
That's also not true. Democrats, some of which are vocal about the fact that we need to cut back the military budget. And yeah.
Hegemony, imperialism, screwing over the workers. They just,
as opposed to Trump, who is the opposite of everything that Jimmy is outlining here.
all screwed over the railroad workers. They all agreed on it.
That's not true as well. Oh my God, there's so many lies. I don't even know where to begin. Everything that comes out of this man's mouth is a lie. He's like Trump.
Democrats voted for it. Of all the class, and then so now they're saying this, Kurt, it's because of Trump with his classified documents. So now,
Yeah, right.
What do you mean now? That was always the claim made.
so first of all, I just wanted to let everybody know Tucker was on. So and Tucker might have crushed it again. Could you go to Tucker's Twitter and see how many views that video got? So
the views don't matter. Has no legitimate, or it has no bearing on the validity of the claims made. But I guess we're gonna, indulge ourselves on the amount of impressions and views that the video itself garnered. I don't know, as a self-serving way of somehow legitimizing the claim. I don't understand how this is relevant here.
So far,
what's Hillary's response to the Trump thing where but her emails hashtag but her email? Have you seen that?
oh no, I haven't.
Where it's if someone goes, what about Hillary's emails? It's to preemptively mock someone saying that.
I'm sorry, hold on 1 minute. I need to... Oh, you're back. Hold on. Alright, welcome back. We are back. Alright, this video isn't too much longer. Let me wrap this up and then we might hit the hay.
That's of Trump.
Oh, really? Did you see how many views it got?
I have 72.5 million. Episode 3, America's Principles Are at Stake.
So, you tell
Wait, what was that? What was that look for? Like, what is? Like, is that supposed to speak for itself? Like the amount of views it got? Like,
me how many views Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN got yesterday.
I see now. This has to do with sticking it to legacy media, sticking it to the establishment. The fact that the lowly old Tucker Carlson, an indie content creator, can somehow garner millions upon millions of views, and yet the large apparatus of Fox News can't. And even though Fox News, in all likelihood, is garnering as much views as Tucker, probably.
Talking about Trump's indictment. He just got almost a third of the country to watch.
Are you fucking retarded? Like, genuinely, are you retarded? I need an answer to that question. He actually thinks that 88, all the millions of views, or whatever the fuck it is, are all, like, people watching it? Like, different people watching it? You know, a view is just, like scrolling past it, too, right? Holy shit. I don't even know what to say. This is a level of... This is the lowest IQ I think I've seen since, like, since the fucking people on Twitter who were saying there was, from the train derailment, the fucking rainbows and the puddles that they found, or it was, like, actually, like, gases that came all the way to Canada. Wow, this is actually insanely stupid. Even for Jimmy, this is really dumb.
That.
Well, is there
Now again, people with Twitter, sometimes it's the difference between a video view and a tweet view are different. But
okay, but that's not what we're talking about here. The video views could just be watching a couple seconds. The video views also aren't all different human beings. They could, I mean, a lot of them could be, but at the same time, 88 million, it's not like 88 million different people watched it. It's just the amount of times the video was watched. And watch, in this circumstance, I believe, even constitutes a couple seconds of looking at the video.
he's still crushing it beyond belief. Go
who
ahead.
the hell sits through an entire CNN show that's not at the airport or what? Like, whatever the engagement, I bet it's the same. Because I've never, at the times I did watch CNN, I didn't just sit and watch CNN. Who would
What? Why does that matter?
watch that?
Hey, come see us live on.
Okay, thank God that's over. Jesus. This was filled to the brim with lies and deception and erroneous presuppositions. Everything about this video, not just from Tucker, but from Jimmy here, the analysis, quote unquote, has been shocking. It is shockingly awful. And also, the title here reveals that the indictment's a sham. Based upon what exactly? What did Tucker reveal? Like, was it the fact that, like, he didn't reveal shit? He just made the erroneous claim that this was him being persecuted, him being uniquely targeted by the law for posing a threat to the establishment, apparently. I mean, first off, that premise, that latter premise has yet to be established. I completely disagree with that, because Trump is, again, steeped into the swamp as much as anybody else. But additionally, there was nothing that was revealed here that indicated that the Trump indictment was a sham. Like, the legitimacy of the indictment has still maintained, like, a degree of integrity. There's nothing, like, there's no evidence here. It was just making shit up and giving opinions. Those aren't the same, like, okay. I'm honestly digging way deeper than I probably need to, but, like, this shit is important. Like, you gotta be able to differentiate between lies and non-lies. Okay, well, that's that for today. Not a long stream. I gotta go feed my dogs and shit, and then take care of them. So pretty short, but next or this Saturday on the 17th, I will be available, and we will we'll get it going, and hopefully my camera will be coming in before that day takes place. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on Saturday.